Chéri Coco is an early 70s story about a half-French, half-Japanese girl trying to follow her fashion design dreams in Paris. Today, that show is practically lost. It's not entirely lost media because we have the opening, the theme song, a couple of animation cells and images. We even have the name of all the episodes and when they air. But the actual episodes are just not accessible, assuming they still exist somewhere. You'll likely have better luck trying to track down the remaining copies of the manga. I wish I could say I'm making this video because I somehow found some episodes of this show. But to be honest, the show's theme song found me, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it because I'm very interested in both retro shoujo and retro fashion, especially when fashion is so clearly highlighted in the shoujo series. So let's take a look at what we have. The show is an adaptation of a manga by Waki Yamato, which was serialized in 1971 in the now defunct magazine Shoujo Friend and was compiled into 3 volumes, so it was a pretty short series. For Waki Yamato, this was the first anime adaptation of her work. She's most well known for her later stuff, like the manga version of The Tale of Genji, or her popular 70s series Haikara-san or Smart-san, which is set in the 1920s and follows a high-spirit and rebellious protagonist and her romance with a half-German soldier. Haikara-san had a late 70s adaptation that was licensed in some European countries. Unfortunately, it's hard to find much beyond the first episode these days, but raw episodes are out there, and we do have a recent anniversary 2-part film. But time just wasn't kind to Yamato's first anime. Mon Chéri Coco aired in 1972 for 13 episodes before being cancelled. According to Lost Media Wiki, it was mainly due to financial problems and the resignation of producer Kiyoshi Watanabe. It also mentions the show having retransmissions up to 1990, but, well, outside of that, this doesn't seem to have gotten any sort of release. And unlike Haikara-san, it doesn't seem to have ever gotten out of the country. It doesn't even have a Wikipedia entry that's not in Japanese. So, I'm assuming no one has seen this show in almost 30 years, and that it's very likely that no one has ever seen it outside of Japan. Curiously enough, Italy has recently licensed the manga of another fashion shoujo from the 1970s, called Designer by Yukari Chiyo, so who knows what the future might hold. Given the circumstances, there's not much we can say about the show, but it stands out that compared to the manga, the Coco from the anime looks like an entirely different person. Anime Coco has brown hair instead of blonde, and she looks older, which is fine, but her design seems to reject the shoujo aesthetics of the time in favor of frankly odd choices like really small and separate eyes. I wouldn't pick the puddle haircut over the fuller puffy hair or the pigtails of her manga version. I don't know, that's just me. For comparison, Haikara-san is an example of a blonde manga version with a more exaggerated cuteness, turned into a more toned-down brunette anime version done right, in no small part because it embraces its shoujo origins. It's also hard not to think of the combination of Coco with Paris and fashion as a reference to one of the world's most famous fashion icons, an infamous Nazi spy, but I'm guessing they were just focusing on the fun fashion part. Who knows, maybe this was a messy production with more than a few questionable choices. But we can only speculate, and even if it was a train wreck, who cares, we love drama. I for one would have loved to see what it had to offer, even if it's only as a time capsule of 70s fashion and the shoujo melodrama we can expect from the era.